Last one before we let you go, man. I know we took up a lot of your time, man. Hall of Fame, man. First of all, I want to know, was that always the goal? Number one, number two, what was your thoughts when you first got that call to be in? We got my man Beast Mode. He's up this year. You know what I mean? And to finish that off, like, do you think Beast Mode's a Hall of Famer?
Oh, absolutely. He's definitely
All
got my
right,
vote.
the interview over. You heard it
And good.
first. And like I told you before, like, when we sat down and we watched the plays, like that was my Hall of Fame right there, man. Like, what I mean, to hear from, because I mean it don't matter. Like, you can't talk about football and say a running back without saying Barry Sanders.
Man,
It just can't
Appreciate
happen.
that, man.
man, it can't
Appreciate
happen.
It
that.
just it
Yeah.
just can't. I don't care who your favorite team. I don't care
That's a
if
good
you
way to put
hate
it.
Detroit or whatever the case may be, but you can't say nothing about running back and Barry name not be
Absolutely.
And for me,
just
man, that's
it just don't
that kind
happen.
of respect, coming from Marshawn and other running backs, that's really an award in itself. You know what I mean? Just that kind of praise, and so good luck to Marshawn this year. I'm assuming he's going to get in, but either way, good luck to you, and you definitely deserving of being in there. But to answer your question, for me,
Yeah.
it wasn't something that I really ever thought about, honestly, because I wasn't heavily recruited. And I didn't start very long in college. My Heisman year was the only year that I started. And then
Crazy.
I was really thinking about going back to school. And my dad was like, boy, you got to be out of your mind if you think about going back to college,
Man, get that
after the
paper,
year you
man.
had. And so he, my dad pretty much kicked me out of college and made me go to the NFL. So when I got to the NFL, I was, I knew Walter Payton, I knew O.J. Simpson, I knew Larry Zonka, I knew Terry Metcalf, Tony Dorsett, Marcus Allen, Billy Sim. I knew all the running backs because all my life I had always followed them.
Yeah.
But but that was the last thing from my mind. It was about coming in and trying to prove that I fit. Trying to prove that I could play with the big boys. That's what I was thinking. And so Hall of Fame, that would have been something that I thought about maybe later on.
Mm-hmm.
But it certainly was not on my mind in my formative years, and that would have been something that happened to like someone else. So but for me, I think, and everybody processes the game different, and
Yeah.
we live in a different era too, because I grew up before like the ESPN era, and I didn't have ESPN in my house growing up. There was no such thing, right? Until I went to college, so
Mm-hmm.
so now, now it's probably something more that kids think about, just because they're more aware of it. And there's 24-hour sports. But for me, yeah, it would not have, it would have been the furthest thing from my mind. For me, it was, how can I compete against these high school kids across town, and how can I compete against these college kids, and earn a position on the college level. And then, like I said, when I got to the NFL, how can I, cause I was being a Heisman Trophy winner. I was the first junior to go to the NFL. Other juniors like Herschel Walker, and Mike Rozier,
Yeah.
Doug Flutie, they had gone to the
Yeah,
USFL,
they had to go to other
right?
leagues.
So I was the first to go to the NFL, and,
Yeah.
and so it was just the weight of, I had enough pressure on me just with that, just with coming into a loser, in Detroit, that hadn't won in many years. Just that pressure of being able to fit into that situation. That's what I was thinking about. And so it was a tremendous honor to get the call, and to be able to have that happen for me and my family. My dad, who was a huge football fan, he did give kind of a weird speech. But my dad, he always found a way to keep me humble. He always found a way to keep me humble. And so he ended up praising Jim Brown more than he talked about me. during my Hall of Fame speech, but that's the kind of guy he was. And hey, look, Jim was a great player. But to answer your question, no, it wasn't something that would have been on my mind until much later.
If somebody was to ask me, like, considering that, you are my favorite running back, like, what did I take away from your game? And then you just spoke on it, like, just being humble.
Yeah.
Like, that was something that I, like, throughout my career, like, I pride myself on that, which actually led to a lot of the controversy over me with, like, not talking to the media. It wasn't so much more that I couldn't or I didn't want to. It was just the fact that, like, y'all just want to come put all these cameras on me and make everything about me when there's 11 other dudes on offense that's doing their job at the same time. So in my way, that was how, to me, like, I'm paying homage to, my favorite guy. Like, I always seen you just being really humble, and I seen that worked. So I'm like, well, I can't play like him, but, my mindset and being humble, like, I can take that away from his game, because I ain't no damn way I'm finna sit down and break nobody down with so many goddamn moves. So
You
that
did
was
your thing, though. Hey, you did your thing, man.
yeah,
Absolutely.
but man, that's a pleasure. And if there was something that I could say that I took away, from Barry Sanders' game, it would be the humbleness that, he brought to the game. And regardless, they knew you was gonna break their ass off. And then probably give him a handshake after, like, hey, good try, man. I appreciate
right.
that.
Barry, I used to hear defenders yell trying to hit him, like in pain, because to try to hit him, it was a painful thing, bro.
Man, I know I'm gonna get got, but I'm gonna get mine more than I get got, though.
2-4 for the one time. I'ma get got, but I bet I get mine. 2-4 to 2-6, and if I get got, then you know what I'ma get.